Shalom guys. So I have never done a live video on the channel before. I didn't think I could actually. So I have something I want to share with y'all. I'm reading this book, or Matt and I are reading it together, and it truly has done wonders in our lives. It's helping us to work on ourselves. So we're about, I guess, halfway through this book right now. And I wanted to share something that just really hit me like a ton of bricks. So in this book, it teaches us how to fight against the enemy from within ourselves, within our own minds. And that is by going back to the beginning of our lives and recognizing the faults and the pain that we have endured. So in this section, I wanted to read just a little bit from it for y'all today. So right here, we read, "The beginning, Bereshit, of the solution to the problem of the enemy is to recognize him within ourselves. We carry the enemy in our own hearts. We hate him because he contradicts us. We fear that if we acknowledge him as our own, he will take us over completely. The precise opposite is true. Not to acknowledge him is to fall into the power of the inner enemy who mocks our futile efforts to get rid of him. By getting rid of those who carry the projected burden of our own darkness. To acknowledge him as our own is to begin to be released from his power and to find his constructive side. In other words, if we are desirous of eliminating hatred of supposed enemies, we would do well to start by looking at the reflection of ourself in that enemy, a mirror image between light and darkness, guys. If the quality that we hate is not in ourself, we cannot see it, resonate with it in another person. Or saying it another way, we only see in others that which we see subconsciously in ourselves. Until we own this truth, we will continue to carry the burden of our own darkness. A beautiful illustration of a person eliminating feelings of hate towards his enemy is told by George G. Ritchie in his book, Return from Tomorrow. I haven't read that book, but I may. Oops. Oh, where'd it go? Hold on. Wait, I think it was 111. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So right here, we read, when the war in Europe ended in May 1945, the 123rd EVAC entered Germany with the occupying troops. I was a part of a group assigned to a concentration camp near Wuppertal, charged with getting medical help to the newly liberated prisoners, many of them Jews from Holland, France, and Eastern Europe. This was the most shattering experience I had yet had. I had been exposed many times by then to sudden death and injury, but to see the effect of slow starvation, to walk through those barracks where thousands of men had died a little bit at a time over a period of years, was a new kind of horror. For many, it was an irreversible process. We lost scores each day in spite of all the medicine and food we could rush to them. And that's how I came to know Wild Bill Cody. That wasn't his real name. His real name was 7 unpronounceable syllables. in the Polish, or yeah, pronounceable in Polish, okay. But he had long, drooping, handlebar mustaches like pictures of the old Western hero. So the American soldiers called him Wild Bill. He was one of the inmates of the concentration camp, but obviously he hadn't been there long. His posture was erect, his eyes bright, his energy, and I don't know how to say this word, indefatigable. Since he was fluent in English, French, German, and Russian, as well as Polish, he became a kind of unofficial camp translator. We came to him with all sorts of problems. The paperwork alone was staggering in attempting to relocate people whose families, even whole hometowns, might have disappeared. But though Wild Bill worked 15 and 16 hours a day, he showed no signs of weariness. While the rest of us were dropping with fatigue, he seemed to gain strength. "We have time for this old fellow," he'd say. "He's been waiting to see us all day." His compassion for his fellow prisoners glowed on his face. And it was to this glow that I came when my own spirits were low. So I was astonished to learn, when Wild Bill's own papers came before us one day, that he had been in Wuppertal since 1939. For 6 years he had lived on the same starvation diet, slept in the same airless and disease-ridden barracks as everyone else, but without the least physical or mental deterioration. Perhaps even more amazing, every group in the camp looked on him as a friend. He was the one to whom quarrels between inmates were brought for arbitration. Only after I'd been at Wuppertal a number of weeks did I realize what a rarity this was in a compound where the different nationalities of prisoners hated each other almost as much as they did the Germans. As for Germans, feeling against them ran so high that in some of the camps liberated earlier, former prisoners had seized guns, run into the nearest village, and simply shot the first Germans they saw. Part of our instructions were to prevent this kind of thing, and again, Wild Bill was our greatest asset. Reasoning with the different groups, counseling forgiveness. It's not easy for some of them to forgive. I commented to him one day as we sat over mugs of tea in the processing center. So many of them have lost members of their families. Wild Bill leaned back in his upright chair and sipped at his drink. He lived in the Jewish section of Warsaw. He began slowly. The first words I had heard him speak about himself: my wife, our 2 daughters, and our 3 little boys. When the Germans reached our street, they lined everyone against a wall and opened up with machine guns. I begged to be allowed to die with my family, but because I spoke German, they put me in a work group. He paused, perhaps seeing again his wife and 5 children. I had to decide right then, he continued, whether to let myself hate the soldiers who done this. It was an easy decision, really. I was a lawyer. In my practice, I had seen too often what hate could do to people's minds and bodies. Hate had just killed the 6 people who mattered most to me in the world. I decided then that I would spend the rest of my life, whether it was a few days or many years, loving every person I came in contact with. Loving every person. This was the power that had kept a man well in the face of every privation. Note, Wild Bill lived on the same starvation diet, slept in the same airless and disease-ridden barracks as everyone else, but without the least physical or mental deterioration. How amazing. Wild Bill's attitude, the feeling in his heart-mind, was one of pure and simple love. He loved every person with whom he came in contact. And in order to exhibit this kind of love, he would have had to forgive. What a graphic example of the profound and magnificent power of forgiveness and love. I mean, guys, this is as real as it gets. This is as real as it gets. You know, we battle a lot of different things in this world today. And we all got different trials, right? We all got different trials, different things that we're battling with. But the battle is right here. It's the battle of the mind. Now, I don't know about y'all, but when I read this, I had to hold back the tears. I had to hold back the tears because I thought about, these are my brothers and sisters from long ago. They were treated horribly. Look what hate does. Hate spreads darkness. But we are called to be children of the light, not of darkness. Yes, the Father hates evil, but he says, I will be the one to do what needs to be done to take care of that hate. We're not supposed to hate. We're supposed to hate evil. But it says to love those that are persecuting and hating you. Is this not exactly what we are called to do, being children of Messiah, Mashiach? I don't know about y'all, but I gotta be honest. I mean, just straight up, I'm just gonna call it how it is. It is hard to love those that are persecuting and hating you. But we are reminded all throughout the written word, we are reminded that our reward is not here. Of course, he wants good things for his children. He does. But our reward is not here in this physical realm. Our reward is in the heavenlies. So when it says to bless those cursing you, do good to those who are hating you and persecuting you. And that means the people that are even under the same roof that you're dwelling in. It says, you know, Yeshua or Yahusha, he said that, you know, people of your own household, you know, would hate you and persecute you. And that is so, so, so true. And we don't look at hate in the same way, you know, that we probably should. But hate is just being mean, saying disrespectful things. You know, not being grateful. You know, when it says in Scripture that the heart of many will wax cold, that is so true. And how do we love these people? I mean, think about it, okay? So maybe in your house, you've got a family member, a dad or a brother, or, you know, whatever your circumstances is. Maybe it's even a spouse, you know, at this point, who, you know, barks and doesn't show you any respect and you know, just expects you to do everything for them, and they don't do anything for themselves, and they don't do anything for you, and they're not grateful, and you can see it written all over them. You can see that they're miserable, and because of their misery, they're trying to bring you down, because that darkness that resides within them, they're trying to put that darkness, that hate inside of you. But we have got to rise up as Abba Yahweh's people. We are people of light, not darkness. We have to rise up and stand firm, and wait on the deliverance of Yahweh. Our Messiah is coming soon. And right now we are in the threshing floor and we are being trampled down. We're being trampled down upon the enemy. But we are people of the light. And we've got to stand up and be strong. Fight against the principalities of darkness, because We are not fighting against our family members. We are not fighting against all these people. We're fighting against the evil. For we do not battle against flesh and blood. We battle against the principalities of darkness that are within the people that we love and care about, or strangers. I could go on and on and on, but you guys need to check out this book. Okay? Anybody who watches later on, Shalom sister, thanks for joining. I got one person on. Whee! Okay, so check out this book. I'm telling you, if you don't have this book, this is a book that will change and transform the renewing of your mind, so that way you line up with Abba's will more in your life. So that's what I got for y'all today. I wanted to jump on here and try something new. So live stream, wee! Something new. My husband does these all the time, but this is my first time, and I'm doing it on my phone, obviously, because my phone's moving around, just like that. But yeah, the battle's real, but the battle is real right here. So thanks for jumping on the glory of Yah's creation, Wendy. Thanks for jumping on, Wendy. I appreciate it. And stand firm. Stand firm and wait on the deliverance of Yahweh. We really, really have to be strong spiritually. We've got to fight against those principalities. And we've got to recognize that if this man who was living in the barracks of Warsaw, when all these horrible, terrible things were happening to these people, if he could stand up and hold his staff in hand, because he really was, he was holding his staff in hand, and he made that decision. He made that decision that he was going to stand against the enemy. He had Yahushua's staff in his hand, and he said, Satan, not today. He made that choice. We can make that choice today. Stand here with me. Stand here and stand firm on the word, because the word is healing to our navel and moistening to our bones. We have to stand up for righteousness, which is standing in the face of our enemies and loving them. Yahweh will do what he needs to do to put them in their place. I'm saying it nicely, but he will, because he doesn't desire for any of his children. Everyone he's made is made in his image. When it says you were made in the likeness and image of Elohim, literally the Father's name, the YHWH, Yod-He, Wah-He, or Vav-He, however you say it, literally is the 4 proteins that are located within mankind. Yes, his name is our DNA code. That means everyone out there is made in his likeness and image. Everyone. So that means that whether somebody is loving you or they're hating you, it is your job. It is my job to love them. Love them and expel that darkness with light. So I choose today to love those persecuting and hating me, because if that guy in that concentration camp could do that, well, by golly, I sure as heck can do it too. And you can too. You can do all things through Messiah who strengthens you. So stand up, stand strong, and wait on the deliverance of Yahweh, because he is fighting. He is fighting for us. And we've got to fight back against that enemy by spreading that light, because we are not put under a basket, but we are to let our light so shine before men so that they see our good works and praise him who is in the Shamayim. Rise up, people of Abba Yahweh, rise up, people of our Creator, our great, mighty, powerful Tatanka, our Elohim. rise up. All right. That's it for y'all. Shalom, Havarim. Bye. How do I shut this off? Ah! Maybe right here. Oh, goodness. Oh, my goodness. Right there. Can somebody tell me how to shut this off? No. Matt is the techie. Candace, not techie. Oh my goodness. Okay. Matt's going to look at this later and he's going to be like, there should be an end live. I know, but there isn't. There isn't. There's 4 things down here. There is an X button. I could do that. Because normally when you press the little X button, it knocks you out. Okay, we'll try that. Mwah! See what happens. Are you sure you want